of shit. All your podcasts are the same individuals, same narrative. You haven't got a clue.
Hey folks, many thanks for tuning in. I'm going to try and make this a quick video today, as the last couple have gone on quite a bit, to be fair. I just want to remind the viewers, first of all though, that I don't know any of the people that I talk about in these videos. I've never met any of them, and I certainly don't run a fan club for any of them. So any opinion expressed on this channel may sometimes be critical. It shouldn't need to be pointed out that we're entitled to be as critical as we like about public figures, without intimidation. It's sad that I have to say this, but obviously there are little videos getting made which effectively state that I shouldn't be allowed to criticise certain things in whatever manner I wish. The level of outrage that's being milked in certain circles at the moment is getting quite silly. I know most people listening understand that we can indeed criticise public figures, so shout out to the logical thinkers out there, you are much appreciated. Now, speaking of criticising public figures, I really don't know what the hell to make of everything that's going on right now. All I know is that there's something in the air for sure. We've obviously not recovered from the full moon that we recently had, and we're now witnessing the great podcast war of 2021. All fought in the context of the Daddygate universe, which is a bit like the Marvel universe with all its heroes and villains. So in the last couple of days we've had Darren Gee calling out James English and Marvin Herbert, as well as, obviously, calling out Sean Atwood, which is the norm, and he also recently begun to criticise Cody Leahy as well. Darren actually said that he woke up to find Cody Leahy pleasuring himself in the same room, which was one of the more humorous call-outs that I've heard recently.
Something wakes me up and I'm thinking, wow, stood over there in the corner is big man Cody. Now I want to be stone cold Bruce fucking Silver. I'll just tell you fucking straight. I woke up in the middle of the night and Cody Leahy was wanking. Not in his fucking bedroom. He's in the living room where I am. The cunt's wanking. That what woke me up. Do not get it twisted, Cody. Got no need to lie.
But these criticisms from Darren don't really come as a shock. Some of them are more surprising than others, yes, but Darren Gee has been calling out people left, right and centre for a long time now. Today we had Marvin Herbert making a video, seemingly out of nowhere, which mentioned Darren Gee and Sean Atwood, in which he called Sean Atwood a very confused man with sexual issues, and said in his view, he was never a kingpin, just a wannabe.
So that is the end of the scenario with Sean Atwood. He's a very confused individual, okay? But what I did realise by interviewing Sean Atwood is facts. He was not a kingpin. He was not a big gangster. He was not a partner of notorious gangster figures in America, you know? And he made it quite obvious that he had drug issues, he had sexual issues, and he had relationship issues.
Marvin's video did draw some criticism from the audience though, with his video once again being accused of being clickbait. I think the fact that it was titled Marvin's Opinions on Sean Atwood and Darren Gee, and then Marvin basically opened up by saying I have no opinion on Sean Atwood and Darren Gee because I don't know them, plus the whole setting it as a premiere thing. I will admit, I did think here we go again, this is more of the same after Marvin's podcast with Sean Atwood. However, he did give an opinion on Sean Atwood, that he's a confused man with sexual issues. This may be a fair statement, however Sean Atwood's lawyers are probably poring over that as we speak. As we all found out recently, nobody's allowed to have an opinion on Sean Atwood. Sean Atwood is a living saint, his reputation must remain pure, and people must not form opinions based on his behaviour. Darren Gee operates slightly differently though. He doesn't seem to involve lawyers, he does just go straight for the throat sometimes, and he clapped back at Marvin with the usual outspokenness that one would expect from him.
He hasn't got a clue what he's doing. He's got no message. He's here with his ego. That's all it is. You see him out there doing his thing, you see him in there promoting boxing clubs on the back of a poisonous promotion.
Whether this was justified depends on the relationship between the two men behind the scenes, which I know nothing about other than what they themselves have said publicly. Marvin has said that he knows people who know Darren, and Darren appeared to debunk this slightly by saying that he doesn't know Marvin at all. Darren also insinuated that Marvin may still be involved in criminality. We don't have any more information on this, but from what I can gather, both Darren and Marvin state that they are no longer involved in crime. In the same video in which he called out Marvin, Darren also aimed his anger towards James English. This did seem to come out of left field slightly, but again, we don't have a clue as to the context of things, which can always make a big difference. Darren said that James asked him to come on his show, and that James used him to boost his numbers and his rating figures, although he also said that he had used James more.
Not James English, he hasn't opened his little mouth about me. Never does. Sits in the background. He might message me like he's got half an angle to say something, but he never has. And no one out there get it twisted like James has ever had some sort of angle on me. He used me, I used him more. Do not get it twisted.
And from what I can gather, Darren was saying that James has been trying to set up a situation in the background, using Darren for clicks, but I may have picked that up wrong, and you can obviously make your own mind up. I'll put the link down below to these podcasts that I'm mentioning today. Most unexpectedly to me though, was that James English came out and dropped a video replying to Darren, effectively calling him out for calling everyone else out all the time.
So, this year's already started off with drama, handbags. Darren Gee, something I never thought I would speak about or out, but needs must. His mouth is vile. He talks a lot of pish, if I'm honest. But I will stand my ground. If somebody's bold enough to try and tarnish my name and my reputation, then trust me, I'm going to be bold enough to fight for it. This isn't fucking Sean Atwood. He's out and he outs a lot of people. Nobody respond. I'm responding. Let's get a few things right. Let's get the facts right. Do you know what I mean? Because you asked to be on my podcast. Not once, not twice, but 3 times.
He seemed to say that he knew it was only a matter of time before he found himself in Darren's firing line, and suggested that it's because this is something that Darren is known to do. James did say that he was quite hurt by Darren's recent video. Indeed, Darren has said several times recently that James English is his friend and the only person worth dealing with in the podcast scene. But James gave it back as good as he got to Darren. He certainly was not taking things lying down, and he queried why everyone who falls out with Darren ends up being accused of being gay. You should listen to James's video itself for the full context, but it appears everyone may have now staked the ground in different corners. James has set the podcasts featuring Darren Gee to private on his channel and says he will make them public again if he receives an apology from Darren.
You've done what you've done. Your podcasts are down. They're all on private. Only reason these podcasts will get put back on if I get an apology.
Whether this will be forthcoming or not, who knows. I do feel that Darren is probably not afraid to apologise in a situation where he feels he's misspoken, but whether he actually feels he's misspoken is another story altogether. Again, without knowing the actual background of the situation, we can only make guesses. The chances are that everyone involved sees the situation differently for different reasons. So I'm just going to splice in a little bit more audio here. Apologies if the audio sounds slightly different than the other audio, but more news broke before I could post this video. So Darren Gee has responded, and suffice to say he stands by everything he's said and more.
James English, your podcast is shit. You've got no narrative. You're just trying to get famous.
Darren speaks somewhat cryptically at times when you don't know the story behind things, but he has responded to James English. Very unhappy indeed, it appears. Darren said that he had embraced James's friendship as if it was real. He no longer feels the friendship was real. He said James English is only after fame and fortune, and that he's being funded by some of the biggest drug dealers in Scotland.
You want to be rich? The most people that put money in your pocket are the drug dealers from Scotland.
Along with a cryptic message that appeared to be directed to more than one person, relating to paedophiles and reporters.
and some paedophiles, and you know who exactly I'm talking about. You know what exactly I'm talking about. Them two reporters, hey, they've got you by the balls and they've been in contact with me for over 2 weeks. That's why you're shitting yourself, mate, and you fucking know it. All of yous are. Yous have got 3 months to tell me, and I can't wait.
All I can say is I have absolutely no clue what's going on here. I actually just don't know what's going on at all and couldn't even hazard a guess at this point. Like I say, I've put the links down below to the relevant videos so you can check things out for yourselves if you haven't already. So I'm going to leave it there. That was just a little roundup of what's going on, folks. It is likely that things are going on behind the scenes that the audience aren't privy to, but what is meant to be will be. Sometimes you just need to start the new year with a cleanse. This may be a necessary cleanse for everyone involved. As I say, I don't want to turn it into a long video. All I will say is that if you enjoy the drama as much as I do, then be one of the people that gets the popcorn out, not one of the people that starts throwing hate around. There's a right way and a wrong way to consume drama, in my opinion. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it though. Please do subscribe if you're not already, because you never know what's going to happen next with these things. Certainly a day is a very long time on the internet. And I'll catch you next time, folks. Cheers.
But again, what all this shit, it's just negative drama, that it's all bullshit.